stop the sun from shining whenever you're around.
Hello and welcome everybody. My name's Rose Smith from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm here with the awesome Aries 2022 horoscope. It's another big year, but this is a more positive year this year than where we've been in 2020 and 2021, thankfully. Yeah, sure, we're still uphill and down on some points, but overall the trend is up, okay, from now on for a fair few years anyway. We'll have to reconsider in 2030, but it's looking much better. Now, we have 4 eclipses this year, which is pretty well usual. I'll also be talking about your ruling planet Mars going retrograde, what that means for you. Jupiter is changing houses. It's already changed signs in December. So for 2022, it's moving into a new house. I'll talk about that. The other big event that's happening is that the USA is having its Pluto return, which happens every 248 years because that's how long it takes the planet Pluto to complete one orbit around the sun. So it's going back to where it was at the time that a bunch of states got together and decided to become a country. Okay, so Pluto is a very potent planet. It's small, or technically it's no longer a planet, but for astrological purposes we still count it as a planet because it packs a punch way beyond its small size. So it's basically going to bring up things in the collective, in society, things like control, power over other people, addiction, manipulation, but it also brings up rebirth. So it's sort of like life, death and rebirth. Something is reborn, and we could find that there's something going on with the US Constitution. You know, there might be parts of it that are rewritten or it's reinterpreted in a new way, okay? And perhaps this is something to do with the Supreme Court might be involved in this reinterpretation of the US Constitution. The other thing is, because it is the US, it's like the most powerful country in the world at the moment. Maybe not for too much longer, but at the moment it is. And so what the US does affects the rest of the world, particularly the Western countries, but all countries really. There's a knock-on effect. And so if they're going through a rather torrid time with a lot of aggression in the population or volatility, this can spread. And we're seeing this in Australia, you know, people talking about their rights. We don't even have for example, you know, the right of free speech. That's not in our constitution. It was not an issue here. So when our constitution was written in 1901, so people just see what happens in the US and they just accept that and think that that's a fact. But of course, all countries have different laws and are based on different principles. And so, you know, what happens in the US shouldn't just be imported and you just naturally assume we have the right, you know, to free speech. We don't. So, and even in the US, it relates to government departments. It doesn't relate necessarily to, you know, what individuals do per se. But anyway, that's by the by. My point is that for you, awesome Aries, this could affect you particularly because Pluto is in your 10th house, which is the house of authority figures. And sometimes that's in work. Sometimes it's to do with your parents. And it's also the house of reputation and social status. So these are the areas of your life that could be affected. You might find you're in a situation at work that you're not happy with, people telling you what to do or something like that, and you feel like you don't have the rights that you should perhaps. And so if you're not in a, you know, working in a situation that you love, or even if you're not working, but if you're not having your general life direction go in the situation that you want, it is really time to reassess your life. And that's probably, if I have to, you know, put a word for 2022, I think we all need a lot of time for self-reflection and reassessment of where our lives are going. You know, is it what we really want? Okay, so that's a bit of a summary. I'll just briefly explain. I like to draw 2 tarot cards as theme cards for the month for you. We'll have a look at your horoscope in depth, and then I'll do a psychic channeling at the end. So let's go to the board now and see what the cards have to say. Alrighty, so if you're new, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that notification bell right now. Let's draw these 2 cards and see what comes out for us. Okay, so the first card, which will be, these cards will be like theme cards for the year for you if you wish to treat them that way. Awesome Aries. Okay, closing my eyes. I like to have a little vision first. What do I see for Aries in 2022? 2022, oh wow. Well, particularly if you're in the US, it's about money changing hands. I just saw the US green dollar bill. It's not really green, it's sort of a khaki grey colour, but the print and everything, but they call it the greenback. And so money changing hands, so do be particularly careful with your money. And you'll note here the solar and the lunar eclipse here in your 2nd house of money that you earn, and also in your 8th house of shared resources. So money is definitely a theme for you this year. The card that comes up is the Fool. Okay, this is a very interesting card. She's wearing the green here, you can see, and then she's taking action and stepping out and taking a risk. Okay, you have to be particularly careful with risky investments, particularly cryptocurrency this year. You'll see here the friends and family, or somebody at least, maybe her partner, is telling her don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, but she wants to step out. Now, on the positive side, the universe likes you to do that. The universe likes you to take calculated and educated risk. It doesn't mean just being impulsive, you know, because you're Aries, that you just go and do it spontaneously with no research. It doesn't mean that. It means that you need to research and really think carefully about stepping out and stepping off the cliff. Are you going to sprout wings and fly? You could. In spirit, you very well could. Or you could end up at the bottom of the ocean, but that might not be a bad thing either, because often there's treasure chests down there in the subconscious, and you do have Jupiter part of the year in your subconscious, so there's growth and opportunity there coming from the house of the goddess. So either way, whether you risk something and you sprout wings or you end up at the bottom of the drink, either way it's beneficial for you. But just be aware that other people are not going to be happy about it, and you have to weigh up in your mind, is the risk worth it? Okay, so that's the first thing. This is about independence and growth as well. You might want to strike out on your own in some way. And that makes me think of Mars here, your ruling planet, which goes retrograde. I will talk about that in the 3rd house. So just bear Mars in mind when I come to it. Let's look at the second card now for the year 2022. I'll go with that one on top. Closing my eyes. What do I see for awesome Aries in 2022? Something about car fuel. Okay, you need to manage your energy. Perhaps sometimes you're finding that you're doing too much and feeling tired. But there's something here about energy. But I do tend to think this is not just symbolic, what I'm saying. I think that petrol, we call it in Australia, or gas, you call it in the US, might be an issue this year, and there might be short supplies. We don't have any short supplies as well, you know, as far as I know. Here in Australia there's no shortage of fuel, even though we don't have much reserves of fuel. We do make a little bit of our own, but not much. And I think particularly in the US, fuel shortages could be a thing this year, but at the very least it means manage your energy properly. Okay, the card that comes out is the Star. This is about your hopes and dreams, sending them out into the universe so they can be fulfilled. You'll see here she's got a jug of water and she's tipping that into the subconscious. This is about feeling emotions and getting in touch with the subconscious, okay? And she's also wearing aqua green or blue. It's sort of half and half green and blue. So the love of the heart, or the desires of the heart, are expressed through the throat chakra. This is like a young girl, or maybe 20 years old, early 20s, something like that. A young woman who has her whole life ahead of her. This is a card full of potential and opportunity. So there's two major arcana there. That means that this is a particularly important year for you, awesome Aries. So two majors coming out. Alrighty, let's now have a look at your horoscope in depth. Now, from the 15th of November 2021 to the 20th of March, Uranus is trining the Sun, which is beautiful. It is a very positive, exciting time, and there's a lot of creativity around you. And you could be feeling quite spontaneous, as you do, because you're Aries. It's a great time for creative work, dance, music, art, and even scientific work, or anything where you use your creativity. And you're likely to be quite original as well. You can create new things with fresh insight and originality. Then we have Uranus conjuncting Neptune up to the 8th of February 2022. And this gives you a really vivid imagination. You might be interested in spirituality more so than usual, mythology, and metaphysical topics. It's not very powerful, but it is there. You might not, if you're sensitive, you'll probably feel it, and if you're not, you probably won't. And then up until the 10th of January, we have Saturn conjuncting Saturn. And you could be questioning your major commitments, and also looking at career choices, maybe your residence, major relationships. So it's just a time of analysing and questioning yourself about your life generally, which is exactly what we want you to do this year. Then we have up to the 31st of January, Pluto conjuncting Pluto, bringing up very deep-rooted and hidden energies. And these are activated now, so it's like you're running on instinct. So occasionally you do need to employ your brain. So it's a matter of getting the correct balance between your brain and your instincts, okay? You might do things quite unconsciously and not really understand why you're driven to do them, and I think it's fine to do them as long as they're not risky and don't endanger your health or your wealth. Then we have 7th of January to the 24th of January, Saturn sextiling Mars, bringing cooperation and harmony with co-workers and colleagues. Any club, organisation or group that you're part of will probably work quite effectively now. Teamwork is likely to go very smoothly, and success is likely. 12th of February to the 20th of February, Jupiter sextiles Uranus. Your life is very upbeat and exciting. You enjoy spirited, jovial get-togethers and parties. You feel optimistic and enthusiastic. 23rd of February to the 3rd of March, Jupiter squares Mars. Okay, be a little cautious with this, because sometimes you might feel overconfident about something, and then you're bold and daring, and you feel this sort of urge to broaden your life in some way, but it's important to keep your feet on the ground. Might be time to look at a new job or new places to live that offer more opportunities. If you're in small business, you might increase your advertising and peruse business opportunities generally. The 7th of February to the 2nd of April, we have Saturn squaring Saturn squaring Uranus. We've been dealing with this through 2021. Some people are saying it's the end of the year too, but the issue there is it's not quite exact, and so that's on October the 4th. It comes close to a proper square, but it's not. It's like half a degree or a bit more than half a degree out. But Anyway, it is a difficult time regardless, and many things just sort of don't work out the way you want them. You could be feeling a bit frustrated because they'll run their own course regardless of what you intend. You could be feeling annoyed, frustrated. There could be interruptions and delays around you. And if you're scheduling something, it might be quite difficult to make it work. Uranus and Saturn, they're sort of like opposites in the sense of Uranus is volatile and likes quick change and transformation, almost like change for change's sake. And Saturn is sort of stubborn and doesn't want to change and wants to go slow. And so what I would say is if you're started on a project or something like that, that you just take gradual steps forward and that you don't sort of leap, okay? Don't be over active or overly energetic about anything. Just, try and work in with both these energies that are sort of seemingly opposite to each other. 14th of February to the 9th of April, Neptune sextiles Venus, gives you compassion, sympathy, love and concern for other people. Your heart reaches out to others more readily, and you can extend yourself and offer assistance. If there's somebody that you've been having some difficulties with, now's a good time to break the barrier between you. 24th of March to the 2nd of April, Jupiter conjuncts Neptune. Your mind wanders to faraway places. Your imagination is kindled with thoughts of exotic, mystical and fantastic elements. You may feel restless and bored by daily routine, and perhaps it's difficult to concentrate on just your normal everyday life. You could be daydreaming a lot. It is a great time to get away on a vacation or travel if you can. 3rd of April to the 11th of April, Jupiter sextiles Venus. This is an excellent time for personal relationships and friendships. You are able to share your feelings, interests and concerns openly and honestly with other people. 16th to the 25th, Jupiter sextiles Pluto, brings cooperation with businesses, government agencies, organisations and influential people. You can gain cooperation and support from these people and organisations, and they will be more likely to assist you. 23rd of April to the 3rd of May, Jupiter squares the Moon. It's a good time to sort of stay at home and enjoy the company of friends and family, maybe a family get together or something like that. You'll have a wonderful time sharing your feelings, and if there is somebody that you haven't been getting on with, you can break the communication barrier down and things can be resolved. 25th of March to the 4th of June, Pluto conjuncts Mercury. This gives you the ability to research and also to study very sort of in a very detailed way. Anything that involves you studying to a deeper hidden level that you didn't know about before, it's likely to work out. You can pursue your interests with intensity, having a great desire to uncover underlying motivations behind the initial appearance. Then we have a solar eclipse in Taurus in your second house here. Okay, so this is your money. These are the two houses that are very tied up with your money supply, and a solar eclipse brings a new beginning. Often it's like in the outside world, it can bring like a new job, or it can bring a pay rise, or money comes to you somehow. So it's quite beneficial, and especially because it's in Taurus too, it's likely to be physical. Okay, it's not just something you're thinking about. Okay, and 2nd of May to the 12th of May, Jupiter sextiles Mercury, brings long distance communications and business dealings are likely to be quite successful, and you'll find, for example, if you have to ring, a company or something like that, you'll get through to a helpful person on the other end who will likely assist you. You'll be able to communicate successfully with co-workers and colleagues regarding overall plans and goals. So it's quite a beneficial time for communication. 5th to the 15th of May, Jupiter conjuncture ascendant, giving you more confidence and optimism, brings lots of opportunities, can even bring good luck to you, okay? But success is more likely now, and people are more likely to approve of what you're doing. The 10th of May to the 27th of October, Jupiter moves into your sign here, okay? So this is fairly major, because it does bring a surge of optimism and confidence. Be careful you don't go overboard in some way, because Jupiter likes success, excess, that is. It likes success, but it also likes excess. So watch overeating there with Jupiter in your sign. 16th, yes, 15th. 15th of May is a lunar eclipse in Scorpio, here in your 8th house of shared resources. This brings up sort of feelings within from your subconscious. It's like quite internalized. There's changes going on to do with your money and other people's money, or some sort of shared resource like a loan, or maybe a joint investment you have with another person, or maybe, you know, you and your partner own a property together or something like that. So a lunar eclipse always brings up all this energy from within, and it's transformed in some way, okay? So there's some sort of major change that happens there. 16th of May to the 10th of August, and Neptune sextiles Pluto, and this brings a tremendous amount of psychological and inner growth. It might not necessarily, you know, change your outer situation, but it does change your inner reality, okay? And perhaps there's elimination of some deeply held negative attitudes that you've been carrying for a long time, or maybe even from your ancestors, things that you may have inherited and you realize that doesn't apply to you in this time, and so you can release all of this energy from the past. 5th of August to the 7th of December, Pluto conjuncts Pluto, and again this deeply rooted and hidden energy is activated, and you can release things from the past. So it's fairly major. You might have memories of incidents from a long time ago, and you're operating again on instinct, and maybe you don't really know why you're feeling the way that you're feeling or doing what you're doing. 17th of October to the 12th of November, Jupiter conjuncture ascendant, giving you confidence, optimism, and faith in yourself. Okay, so that brings, more likelihood of success in the outer world, and other people approve of you as well. 17th of October to the 12th of November, the same time frame, Jupiter also squares your MC, and MC is about your general life direction, or sometimes it's associated with your work. So you might want to think about improving your work or your career in some way. Maybe you're looking at a new job, a promotion, or an increase in salary. Okay, it's like you feel that you're worth it and you're ready for a better situation. 21st of September to the 10th of February 2023, Neptune sextiles Venus. You're likely to be feeling quite compassionate and sympathetic for other people, and yes, your heart reaches out. Okay, so this is another hit of this beautiful Neptunian and Venusian energy, and it's like you can smooth things over very much more easily than before. We have 24th of October to the 23rd of December, Jupiter sextiling Mercury, again bringing another hit of smooth communications that are likely to be long distance, and business dealings likely to be successful, and people just generally help you, especially at work. 25th of October, solar eclipse in Scorpio in your 8th house here brings a real physical consequence to these inner changes that were going on previously here in the 8th house, things that were coming up out of your subconscious. Now there's some sort of concrete manifestation of that. So your level of intimacy could increase, or perhaps if it is to do with shared resources, there's some sort of new beginning. You go and get a loan, you go and buy a house, you get involved with somebody in a financial way, and if it's not a financial way, it may be an intimate way. 29th of October to the 20th of December, Jupiter then pops back into the 12th house here just for a little bit. And this expands your spirituality. It's a positive time for healing and renewal. Spend some time alone now for increased self-knowledge. And then October 31st to January 12th, your ruler Mars goes retrograde in Gemini here. Okay, so you might have had a big push about, say, studying, or perhaps promotion, marketing, or doing a lot of jobs in your local area, like being quite busy and active in your local area. But when Mars goes retrograde, things slow down a little bit. Watch out for feeling a bit annoyed or peevish. You could be more irritable, especially when it's retrograde. But yeah, you might find you have all these ideas, but maybe you don't have as much energy to carry them out. And on 9th of November, there's a lunar eclipse here in Taurus in your second house, again focusing on your money and what you can do yourself, okay, to improve your financial situation. A lunar eclipse always brings transformation, okay, and it's to do with the inner transformation. I'll just make that a bit bigger in case you want to write anything down. Okay, in case there's anything there. Bear those two cards in mind because often you'll see them play out, you know, throughout the course of the year. Okay, so that's your horoscope. Now I'm just going to close my eyes and see what I can see for you for, wow. Okay, so I've got a big lily here in front of me. I'm getting, there's two things about this lily. First, I actually hear arum lily, which I don't know what that is exactly, but go and look it up perhaps. I know it's ARUM, and I don't know what they stand for, but it's opening up. And then there's a type of flower that only flowers once every so many years, and it's that flower that smells. And it might be every, I don't know, I can't remember how many years it is that it flowers, but something smells, it looks fabulous, it's huge, this is like 2 or 3 meters tall, this flower on the end of a stalk, but it smells like vomit. So just what I say to you is be cautious if something looks too good to be true. Okay, you want to make sure that all your senses are in alignment. So just because visually it looks great, it looks fabulous, but it's not lining up with what's happening in your nose. And I always think the nose is about knowledge. The nose knows, you see. It has its own intelligence, let's put it that way. The nose has its own intelligence, so something's not lining up. So this is just a little caution, you know, just watch. It's not, I get actually like a flag. It's not a red flag. It's an amber flag, like orangey yellow kind of flag. It's like a little, just, you know, just take note. Let's say that. And be cautious. Don't rush into things, because there might be this year a little bit of energy for, you know, with Jupiter there, you know, you might just feel overconfident on some point. Okay. Okay. I see, yes, it's a year where you're going to close the door to the past, and lots of opportunities coming in the future. There's sort of like a hesitancy to close the door, but you've got to make the decision. It's like the first card that we came to. Will you jump off the cliff and fly, or will you just sit down and listen to everybody else and not do what you want to do? Okay, that's the matter. You've got to decide. No one can decide that for you. Okay, so that's it for your 2022 horoscope. I hope it's helpful for you. Let me know in the comments, and Leave a like, that would be fabulous. I'd really appreciate that. If you're new, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that notification bell right now. Have a wonderful year, everyone. I'll be seeing you really soon again. I've got Taurus next to do. Okay, thanks again and bye for now. Thanks so much for watching. Please visit my website absolutesoulsecrets.com for all things spiritual. Have a lovely day.